Ahsoka kept running for what seemed an eternity, oblivious to all of the innocent civilians crying out in anguish. What was once a thriving cityscape was now a crippled pile of destruction. But this mattered not to Ahsoka. She would deal with that later if she could. Rolling behind several crates, Ahsoka used her stealth to move past several clone troopers, who were patrolling the streets. Knowing the front entrance to the medical facility would be guarded, Ahsoka climbed the rooftop and jumped through an open window to make her way through. Finally, Ahsoka made her way to the ward of Padme Amidala. Grandmaster Yoda stood by the bedside and turned around to meet the Jedi Knight. No words were necessary, as Padme took her final breaths, after giving birth to Luke and Leia. Yoda is relieved to hear that several key members of the Jedi Order had survived, including Master Windu. Ahsoka also confirms the fall of Obi-Wan, which Yoda had felt in the Force. Obi-Wan's loss was a setback, as Yoda had planned to teach him the path to immortality from Qui-Gon, but the Force had saved Ahsoka for a reason. Handing over the children to Ahsoka, she cradled one in each arm. Surely he didn't expect her to raise both children. Following the fall of Obi-Wan, Ahsoka had only thought of living a quiet life, somewhere away from the prying eyes of the new Empire. But the sight of Padme's children had turned that thought on its head. The fury she had aimed to dissipate into the Force towards Vader was now returned to its height. Yoda could sense Ahsoka's internal worries, and looking at Padme's corpse for one last time, they headed off back to the Jedi Temple. Yoda and Windu gather up all of the remaining Jedi, and not to their surprise, it is a rather modest crowd. Yoda decides that they should be split up, and avoid contact at all costs, unless the new established Empire set foot on their planet. Ahsoka goes to leave, with the thought of raising the children on Shilly, but Yoda stops her, requesting for her to head to Alderaan, with the Organas instead. Ahsoka bows her head to Yoda and Windu, but still wonders why she would be needed. She was quite sure that the Organas would be capable of raising the children on their own. The answer would arrive almost a decade later. Returning from a diplomatic mission, Ahsoka could sense something gravely wrong with the planet of Alderaan. As she approached the peak of a mountain range, Ahsoka just managed to swerve a hailstorm of missiles. Looking behind her, she saw several modified editions of V-Wing starfighters, which are moving towards their rusty interceptor at speed. Using all of her immense piloting skill, Ahsoka manages to outmaneuver all of the fighters, making it to the surface below. Landing near the royal palace, Ahsoka could already see the destruction which had taken place in the nearby streets. Rushing inside the palace, she sees the Organas frantically scrambling to gather their possessions as they made their escape. It seemed that their rebellious attitude to the Empire had not been unnoticed. Luke and Leia also sprinting around in panic, but they are relieved to see Ahsoka, who they had known to be their protector. With no time to waste, this was the moment to implement the emergency plan. The Organas headed for their personal blockade runner, whereas Ahsoka took a small cruiser, and headed for the planet of Dagobah with the twins, where she knew Yoda and Windu would be awaiting her presence. Navigating her way through the lattice web of Imperial activity was not easy, but her knowledge of the galaxy proved to be vital, as she made a safe passage to the swampy planet. Yoda is pleased to see the progress of Luke and Leia. Whilst Ahsoka had been busy with missions and furthering her Jedi training, she had taken the time to teach the twins as much as she could about the Force. Thus now, they were able to handle the next phase of their training. Having had time to think about the mistakes made by the Jedi during the Clone Wars, Yoda knew he had to readjust the code stance and attachments. This would be a perfect opportunity to experiment with what he believed to be a necessary evolution. With Yoda often training the twins, this gave Master Windu the opportunity to train Ahsoka in Form 7 and lightsaber combat. Even though Ahsoka would never be able to completely satisfy the fury and malicious intent required for the pad, incorporating the unpredictability into her existing fighting style would be valuable. Ahsoka also kept in touch with the Organas, who were working behind the eyes of the Empire to form a rebellion. However, one day, Ahsoka would lose contact with the Organas, prompting her to make her way back into the galaxy. Ahsoka had heard rumours of a revolutionary superweapon known as the Death Star, wiping out planets with a solitary concentrated laser blast. Approaching its coordinates, she attempted to contact the Organas once more, but once again, only static played. Without sensing it through the Force, Ahsoka knew that the Organas would be on the Death Star. It was time to put her new abilities to the test. Disguising herself amongst the debris, Ahsoka used the Force to subtly pull her towards the Death Star. She knew that the Emperor or Vader would be able to sense her presence, regardless of whether or not she used the Force. Gently resting the ship on top of a garbage chute, Ahsoka placed an oxygen mask on, and used the Force to pull her and R2 inside. Silently decapitating several workers, Ahsoka headed for the detention blocks. which she knew would be far below the centre of the space station. Using her lightsabers to impale all of the stormtroopers she crossed paths with, Ahsoka found her way to a database, and with the help of R2, found the Organas to be in the AA detention block. Making her move there, she is suddenly stopped by an overwhelming darkness in the Force. That is it for part 2 of What If Ahsoka Could Have Made us Obi-Wan's Padawan. If you'd like to see part 3, please like this video, and if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more what ifs, and as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.